Hey everybody, welcome back to Electric Cafe. This episode today is on Front 242. My first experience with Front 242 was there used to be this channel, and if anybody knows it, please post it below because I'd like to see if there's any kind of online videography or a list of the shows that they had, or how long even the shows went on. But there used to be this show. I'm sure if you're from Minneapolis, you'll know. Minneapolis had a really strong electronic scene. I think everybody thinks of New York and Miami and Los Angeles as far as like the epicenter of dance music when it comes to like freestyle and Miami sound and Miami bass and LA gangster rap and freestyle music and New York disco and house, and of course you got Chicago and Detroit as well for Chicago and for house and techno. But Minneapolis and Dallas, as far as like scenes right in the middle in the Midwest, are some of the strongest scenes in electronic music and in dance music through the 80s and into the 90s. Dallas has a really strong scene of hip hop, and Dallas was the original South before there was South rap of like Louisiana and Ja Rule and all that stuff in the very late 90s. There was this will probably you're probably a hardcore hip hop head if you know who this is, but if you know who Nemesis is, I got the munchies for your bass. Or even, of course, Ghetto Boys, was a popular Dallas. So Dallas was huge into hip hop and electronic music, like in the 80s. And, the scene was strong. And same thing with Minneapolis. Minneapolis, of course, you had Prince and, Information Society and those kind of groups, but they were really hardcore into like rave music too. Like when it comes to some of the best American labels that ever did it. Woody McBride was from Minneapolis. Who did I talk to the other day? I think he was from Minneapolis too. Sorry to name drop here, but I'm Chris Sadinger. I think he was from either New York or from Milwaukee. But Milwaukee had a really strong scene, and the reason how I found Front 242 and even Frontline Assembly was because there used to be a video show on, and I don't know what channel we had it on. It was on some kind of, and I don't even remember, like, there was definitely a few times where I was like, oh, we got turned into that show to watch it. I didn't watch it like religiously, but because I don't think we ever could remember where to find the channel or what particular time, or it wasn't on always at the same channel. But we did watch it a few times, and we caught some really cool bands. Found some really cool bands. I remember I found MC 900 Foot Jesus from it before he got popular. Front 242. There were some good industrial bands that they showed us to, me and my brother, that we had no idea about it. And so yeah, if you know that, possibly that video channel, the video program out of Minneapolis that played a lot of industrial, maybe around like 89, 90, 91, 92, please post it below. I'd like to see if they have anything online about them. But yeah, that's where I first, and that was, I was a huge fan. And then another great experience that I had with them was early on was 1990, I guess it was 92, in August, when saw Zoo TV tour from U2 and Public Enemy and Sugar Cubes opened for them, and Paul Oakenfold was DJing between, and he played Headhunter. And so, and I already, as soon as I first heard Front 242, I went out and by the store and bought all the old catalog ones. So I bought, official version. So when he played, he didn't play Headhunter. I'm sorry, he played Welcome to Paradise. Um, so it was just like amazing time right there, discovering some industrial bands that I never knew about because I also found it in Frontline Assembly around that time too. But here's the official version, and the record. These are all original copies. These are all the ones that I got back in the day. But yeah, master hits on here, quite unusual. Such a great track. Rerun time, not the strongest of the three in my opinion, for the three back catalog ones, comparatively to the other ones. Front by Front was super strong. Had Circling Overland with Until Death Do Us Part, In Rhythms Blyben, Felines, First In, First Out. Had Headhunter, had Work 01, had Terminal State, Welcome to Paradise, had Never Stop, had Work 242 and another version of Welcome Stop, and another Agony Until Death remix. So this one was off the charts. Originally, I had these all on cassettes, and then sometime in the 90s, I got these on CD as well. Yeah, I started taking the stickers off these ones. These ones I probably got from CD Seller in 2000s. That one. Looks like I got this one. I think I got this one in 2014 in Amoeba. But again, I used to have all these all on cassettes. So this was the earliest one, which has operating tracks, Geography 2, Human, which is a great one. Body to Body, Principles. Yeah, dialogues, great stuff. Man, so good stuff. This amazing stuff back then. And I don't know why they didn't put Human. I'm sorry, not Human, but Ethics and Principles. They should have put on Geography. This is the original. This is actually the Austrian copy of Human. Kind of not a super rare CD, but very cool. Early one. Another early one around that, two and one. This one had wow, this cover's old. Body to Body, Principles, yep, Human and Ethics. So yeah, they just put a different cover on it and called it 2 and 1 instead of Human. But same exact track listing as that. I think this is one of their first, if not their first records. I can't remember which was the first one as far as their 12-inch, but this is definitely like super early on. And you got Master Hit. This is the 12-inch Master Hit, the wax track. So you got the Hypno Mix, the LP version, and then you got the Master Blaster. This was ready for clubbing right here. This is banger. And then you have No Comment, which I have the original wax track mailing order, which is super cool. Man, what can you get from wax tracks? Official versions right there. Revolting Cogs. Waterfront 242 on here. Ministry. Of course. More Ministry, yep. Cold Life by Ministry. Revolting Cogs, My Sexy Man. Man, there's some good stuff. You can buy a share on here. Let's see what the prices are in here. T-shirts, $8. Very cool. $8 for a t-shirt. This is a really good record here. Here's a, 2 copies here. I also have it on CD as well. This has the Commando Mix, No Shuffle, which is great. Lovely Day in Special Forces. Awesome EP. Kick ass. Man, they were kicking ass right around that time. That's why they're wearing all their fatigue and shit, because they were kicking so much freaking ass at that time. Here's Endless Riddance, Controversy Betweens on and Take One. Very cool. Is this really Wax Track number 4? It's the 4th record on Wax Track. Brussels, Bringing It Strong. Man, awesome stuff. Here's the 12-inch for, I think this is Commando, right? Good. Also with the Wax Tracks mailer. Commando remix. This is Politics of Pressure, sorry. Don't Crash. Oh, Don't Crash, great song. And it's also got another popular one, the Funk Defy? Gaddafi? Yeah, I think that's how it says. Great EP. Which number is this one? Actually, it's 1985. Man, I also got the I should put it on the right way. I also got the postcard, which I had to find the postcard to oh, it is nothing. Yeah, I thought it was the opposite way, but it is that way. Anyways, matching postcard, super cool. Also matching postcard on this one is the Never Stop 12-inch. Very cool. Work 242, Never Stop, Agony Until Death. Man, some great industrial club music right here, man. Okay, killing it. And then when I found the video that I saw was the video for Tragedy for You. This is great. And then I went out by Tyranny for You. Again, then I used to have this on the cassette. All these used to be on cassette. I just lost them in moves. And then, strangely enough, I wanted to say I had this on had the CD and sometime and probably lost it too. But here's the original record. This is Jam Pack. Sacrifice is a great track. Moldavia, which was used in the movie K2 soundtrack. The one about the climbing K2, the mountain. Moldavia is on the soundtrack right in the middle of the movie. It's great. Trigger 2, Anatomy of Shot. Grip by Fear is a really good one. I need to get Grip by Fear 12-inch. That's the only Front 4 record that I have. I do want to get some of the reissues they got out. I'd like to get some of those reissues. Same thing with Frontline Assembly. I'd like to get some of those reissues. They look really clean. I haven't got around to getting them yet. But side 2, Tragedy for You, The Untold, Nero Bashing, Soul Manager, Leitmotiv 136. Man, what a great album this is. I think this is so underrated when it comes to the history of industrial music. Like this doesn't even get mentioned when they talk about best Front 242 albums. This album's fantastic. Just the singles alone, Tragedy for You and Rhythm of Time and Grip by Fear. Just amazing. Tragedy for You. This has these versions are kind of there's kind of like a 12-inch. It's kind of redundant. There's a 12-inch remix. There's a 7-inch remix. There's a Punish Your Machine 7-inch remix. There's a Punish Your Machine's 7-inch remix. There's a Vox 7-inch remix, a Vox 12-inch remix, and then some other version. And it's kind of redundant. They're all kind of just mostly around the same original version. It's not all that great. But, being a collector and all, have it on vinyl too, of course. I do like the Neuromancer. They don't really say that's a version of it, but it's like the longer one. That one's super cool. Again, I need to get the Gripped by Fear 12-inch. This is the Rhythm of Time one. This is the Anti-G mix and the Victor the Cleaner mix. Man, they were just kicking ass right at that moment. Of course, shortly after this, they were on the first Lollapalooza, right? I got a chance to see Front 242 in, I think it was 1999, at the Key Club on Sunset Boulevard. which was an amazing night. My brother will tell you a crazy story about that night. I'll let him tell that story. He likes to tell that story. But man, it was such a crazy. Cassandra Complex opened up for them. If you know that, and they're kind of goth. And I didn't really know Cassandra Complex, although I heard them. But if you guys know Cassandra Complex, you can see why I'm kind of smirking, because they opened up, and they're all big and and out there like gothic, where it was, and then I was expecting industrial, like or EBM, and Cassandra Complex came on. I heard them, but I didn't know that. And they were like, oh, like that. I was like, whoa, what is this? So me and my brother were kind of laughing, but it wasn't that bad. But it was just kind of like, what the hell? And then Front 242 came on and absolutely destroyed the room. Everybody was bouncing off the walls. I don't think they knew what to expect. Like when Front 242 finished, like it was early in the night too. I don't think it went too late, because a lot of places don't go to like 2 in the morning on Sunset. They want to get you the hell out of there like at 12. So I would imagine, and plus, even though it's live, on Sunset and stuff, I can't imagine the noise that maybe closing people down at 12. But that's how it was in those days. Like some places were open really late, some places weren't. But I can't imagine, even with an opening band, that it went past 12. But man, after Front 242, that was the first time I saw Front 242, and I didn't have a lot of expectations, because I kind of, after 93's albums, Upheaval and Off, I kind of, they kind of went away. There was really no other album that came out in the 90s, and that Pulse, it was right around the time of Pulse, I guess maybe a year or two after, whenever Pulse came out. But that was not really it was a live album, but there was really no new material for like 7 years, 6-7 years. I had no idea what to expect. And if you guys know Front 242, you guys know that live they turn up the volume and sort of do some sort of, and especially at that time, like trance was really big, so they kind of just amped them all up into like big techno, and there was like a lot of trance and stuff like that. And I think they really kind of carried that over to, even to now, they still do that a little bit, because it was just that time, and they were sort of updating their music to the new trends, I think. And if you listen to Pulse, I've only heard Pulse here and there. I've never heard it all the way through, but it is kind of like a techno versions of a lot of their songs, and but that was hot back then. It wasn't, they got a lot of a different. It just worked really well for that particular time, and seeing them, and then making new versions of those older songs. And man, they had everybody like popping off the wall. Like, I don't know if we didn't. We probably went home, because I remember when we were at the Rainbow Room next door. If you all know the Rainbow Room, you know what I'm talking about. So we were at the Rainbow Room for dinner and drinks before we went to the Key Club. What a night! Rainbow Room Key Club in Front 242. What an amazing night. I don't think we did anything after. I might have went to a bar or something like that. But at the time we had to, it was kind of after seeing a couple concerts, we usually didn't hit like an after party for the most part. But man, they had everybody like falling over each other, like so energized walking out there. Like you would have thought they just gave everybody a shot of adrenaline on their way out. Like everybody was just, it was bananas in there. People were just going off the wall. Like, and probably most people had never seen Front 242, not in Los Angeles, not inside. They did Lollapalooza 7 years before, but did they even tour in America after Tyranny for You? So seeing them in a small upscale venue, I'm sure those bartenders were like, "What the fuck?" Like, they were just out of their mind. Like, what? I don't think they knew what they were in for. They probably just thought it was like some electronic band coming in. Dude, Front 242 bring the energy, man. And then I got a chance to see them in 2005 at the 930 Club, and then I saw them in 2015 or 2017 in Baltimore at Soundstage. And then They're Off and Upheaval. Really underrated. Really underrated CDs. This one was kind of like what I was talking about with the Erasure in '95. These ones kind of, for the most part, especially Off, I think it is Off is all segued together, so it's like one continuous mix. So they were listening. They knew. I mean, that was kind of Upheaval is a little bit more singles, like, and there's some strong singles on there too. I can think of like, Skin and Melt and Him are all really good, but Crappage is also really good. A lot of the songs are one title, so it's hard to remember sometimes, but I know Melt and Skin are really strong. But I think Waste, Fuel, Him, or Motion, like two of those four are really good too. Crappage, the opener is really good. Religion's not bad. But yeah, strong record here. And then Off had, I mean, they just in a row, the tracks in a row. I mean, Animal, Modern Angel, Junk Drum, Serial Killers Don't Kill Their Girlfriend, Riding a Skin, Genocide. I mean, Crushed. Those songs in a row, just amazing. And then they have some remixes of some of the other ones, Happiness, More Angels, Melt Again, Speed Angels, so a couple different versions of the same tracks. But man, talking about like getting two great CDs released right at the same time. I wish I could remember my friend David at the time in like '93. I had a friend named David at the school that I went to, private school, and he was kind of a tagger and graffiti guy, and but we shared some same music, and I had just got into Front 2 Tip a couple years ago, and I had just got into 808 State a couple years ago, before '93, and he really liked 808 State and Front 2, and so we were always kind of like, showing each other bands and stuff like that, and I'll get him into Skinny Puppy, and he probably got me into some other music, and I wish I could remember some of those, but great guy, but we only knew each other for that year, but I can't remember his last name. It was David something. But kind of funny tagger guy, white gloves, and would walk around with the graffiti book with all his graffiti in it. There was a lot of taggers in those days, 92, 93, 91. I also had the Front 2 box set, which, I also have the DVD of two of the Front 2 concerts too, but they're PAL. I gotta get them converted so I can watch them. Front 2, I got when they talked about. I think it was back in 2016. They had like a GoFundMe project. Like if you donated this much money, they were gonna do that Wax Track DVD, which I still haven't got a chance to see, but it did finally come out, and I think I donated $200 and you got this plus the donation, and this kind of had some things in it. It had Front 2 book in here that kind of talks. It has some cool pictures in here, early pictures of the band, God, man. Would I have liked to have been a fly on the wall when these dudes came over for the first time and met Wax Tracks? That must have been freaking cool. Love the imagery with the old helicopter. So cool. I guess these are sort of like, I don't know, they're just like sort of like on cardboard, but they're numbered. This one says like 65. I guess they're just random ones. This one says 66. Moment of Terror, the beginning of life. Moment of Terror is the beginning of life. For this one says 66, so it's just kind of two random ones. It was like kind of, you got this random stuff. This kind of, Tim, thanks for supporting this project. I'm not sure whoever that is. I think that was the girl who gathered it together. It's 2015, it says. Little Front 2, a little baggy. kind of a fake Admit One thing, Front 242. It's cool. Of course, I got to put this on a jacket someday. There's a 242 badge. I did kind of put some of my other. These aren't related, but these are some sort of vaporwave patches, as well as this one, which I can't remember. It's the Oblivion Dip. Not sure what that is. But yeah, a lot of. Here's a Front 242 sort of pin, which is super cool. I have to wear that this weekend. All these buttons, wax tracks in pink, wax tracks yellow, wax tracks in orange, another wax tracks one, and the old wax tracks logo. Very cool. And then you have sort of this geography, also says 65 on it. And then it came with a 7-inch, which is take one on the A side, and then a rhythm Bleiben on the second side. So yeah, that's the box set. I want to say there was a couple stickers in there. Oh yeah, I put this. There's a couple stickers that came in too that I put on my own. I don't know, furniture or whatever. I put a lot of Front 242 stickers. There's a Front 242 on the wall up there. I got that. That's from the front by front. That's a poster up there. But yeah, I have a lot of stickers that I put on different pieces of furniture or whatever. In my living room. But yeah, that's my Front 242 story and my history and some of my discography for them. My friend Adam X posted a picture with can't remember which guy it was, just a couple days ago, but I did hear that they are finally doing a final concert, but I think it's going to be in Belgium next year, and that's finally going to be it for them touring. But man, what an amazing band, and amazing band live. And if you ever get a chance, there's a couple of videos online. It just shows the power of them. And I'm trying to remember the songs. Of course, you could check No Shuffle. But there's one video where he's sort of singing live, and he starts dancing crazy. If you know Front 242 and you know that video, you know what I'm talking about. He starts dancing all crazy at the end. There's that one, and then there's the one where they're playing. It looks like they're playing in like a mall, and there's just all these people like in normally families like are in the band, like in the seats and they're in the stage and stuff, and you can see they're all normal. Like everybody's all very chill in the video. I don't think they know what to expect, and it's very early in their career, maybe like 83, 84, and they're sort of playing in this tent. They have all this army fatigue and I think they're playing it. I think they're doing No Shuffle, or yeah, I think they're doing No Shuffle track. Because I want to say that the other guy keeps repeating what he says, like when they sing, he says, "There's no shuffle here, no shuffle here." So he does that. They keep doing that in this particular song. So I want to say it's like either operating tracks or Nurse Shuffle or Special Forces or something like that. One of those tracks off those EPs, and it's just all under all this army fatigue and stuff. And just blowing people's minds. I mean, I just can't imagine. You just see those people in the audience. They're just like, what is this? Man, if I would have been there and I would have been like 7, 8, 9 years old, I would have been mind blown. Because I was mind blown when I first heard them when I was 15. I mean, I first heard Tyranny for You and Tragedy for You, Tyranny for You and Rhythm of Time and Moldavia and stuff like that. I was blown away. There's nobody like Front 242. They're the godfathers of EBM. and I firmly believe, like, if you don't have a background in, I won't say if you don't, but it really helps to understand techno and rhythms in general if you understand EBM and the history of EBM and industrial. And I tend to feel like the people who really know about good techno these days, they tend to come from EBM and industrial, not so much from techno. I think of the people that are into techno and that were always into techno and stuff like that. It'd be interesting to see what techno they were into. Were they into the warehouse techno, late 90s? Were they into loopy techno? Were they into the original techno? Like what techno are they in that's, because all the techno that's in right now, that's sort of like the business techno and trying to be atmospheric and dark and stuff like that, a lot of that stuff comes from EBM and industrial music. And the problem with with business techno and the slower techno is it really lacks a groove. And you're talking about the masters of groove right here, EBM with Front 242. I mean, if you understand Front 242 and you've been a fan with them for a long time and you like their music, you're going to be into a little bit different techno. It's just natural. That's how good they were. Even if you don't know Front 242 and you don't really know techno and you're like, oh, I'm going to get into techno, but I'm going to check Front 242 first, and you understand Front 242, you'll never look at techno the same. You'll be able to see through the average techno and what the better techno is, in my opinion. Because a lot of techno lacks a groove. It lacks funk. And you're like, well, what do you mean it lacks funk? Well, if the original version of tech house is really good techno with house, right? And I'm not talking about the watered tech house sound that everybody, that it's evolved in. I'm talking about the middle 90s tech house was a good version of house and techno. But the original techno, the better techno, it has a dichotomy in it. It has a groove. It has bass lines. Like a lot of this techno, it doesn't really have even bass lines. It's just very build up, drop, and sort of build up again. And probably the best thing about the songs on the better ones is probably after the drop, when for like maybe a few bars and you're like, okay, this is okay. But then it does it again and then goes to a drop and you're just like, there's no energy, there's no aggressiveness, it's well produced, but it's not aggressive, and it's not necessarily that melodic, and it's not that different, and it's trying to be dark, but it's not really dark, and it's not really atmospheric. It might be a little spooky, but I don't know, I'd be hard pressed if a lot of the producers that I like that have done techno in the past that I still like, I'll bet you anything that they're big fans of EBM and industrial music. Clock DVA, Cabaret Voltaire, and Throbbing Gristle, and Front 242. You know what I mean? Like if you know those bands and you've grown up in the 80s, like we did, then you're going to be able to differentiate between the good, the bad techno. It's just, I hate to be a little egotistical on that, but I'm a firm believer in that. Like if you liked a lot of those bands in the early '80s and stuff like that, and you listen to them, you're not really going to like a lot of the new techno that's popular right now. And I'm not sure where it's going. I do a lot of reviews online. And I think it was yesterday I reviewed maybe about 12 techno, and then one's under minimal and tech house or tech deep, whatever. And there was one that I thought had some good retro sounds. There was a second one that I was like, oh, this is kind of interesting because I'm trying to figure out where the nostalgic part is, because it was changing a lot, which was cool, but it sounded very early 90s. The other ones, they didn't do anything for me. And so I'm just like, you know, like where is techno going? Is it getting faster? Is it getting slower? Is it getting more industrial? And I have felt like that it is getting darker and more industrial. I thought it would get faster because it was slow there for a while. But I think there's just so many scenes now and so many people that are into techno that it just goes all over, and you just try to find the good stuff that you like. But there was a time there when if you know techno, it was like there was a warehouse minimal and harder warehouse sound from like 94 to like 97, 98, 99. And then loopy techno was really big, you know, like drum code and, Adam Beyer and Ben Sims and, you know, so many labels. I just, Zenit and, oh God, it's funny because there's so many labels and then I can't really think of any. Planet Rhythm, Drum Code. Trying to think of the one with the gorilla's face on it that Throb Grasshopper was on. Oh, Primitive, Primate. Of course, Glenn Wilson, all the grounding, pounding groove stuff. Hard Cell, you know, Danilo Villa, whatever his name was. Mark Verbose, James Ruskin. So I could go on and on. Carly Licabush. Geez, I'm trying to think of his name. The other Sweden, Jesper Dahlback. Can't think of the other guy's name from Sweden. What's his name? Par Grimmins? Patrick Skoog. I know it was Dietrich Schoenman. There was even a lot in America that were sort of doing like loopy techno and sort of, you know, coming out of warehouse and doing more loops. And then you also had looped records, right, which were locked grooves. So that style was really popular for like a couple of years, and that was getting fast. That was in the upper 130s to early 140s, and then techno just died, and it sort of went minimal. 2002, 2004. There's still some Cologne techno out, and then some tech house and stuff like that. But you know, techno really died around like 2000s. After that Perlon period, kind of staled out. You know, Richie Hahn and stuff like that kind of staled out in like 2007, 2008. It was really like a lot of people didn't think techno would even survive, or let alone make such a huge comeback in a couple of years' time. Because a couple of years' time, and it was because I really liked like Conforce and Recondite in like 2010, 2009 when they came out, and that was on the slower BPM, and everybody followed them. A lot of people followed them, and a lot of people made it really boring. And so now it's been stagnant for 15 years in some ways. Still, dub techno's doing really well, and that's kind of a different style because, you know, if it's repetitive or it sounds like something else, it's whether you like it or not, because there really is no the evolution of that. There's evolution of that, but there's also within the characteristics of the style is meant to copy each other in some ways. So it's if it does copy something, it's not really a big deal. Where generally inside techno, it's futuristic music, where dub is considered old school music. I mean, you talk about like dub and dub reggae, so you want to get sounds that's sort of dub techno that sounds like it's from the 1960s or 70s or 80s or what have you. It doesn't make a big difference if it sounds old or if it's done before. But when it comes to techno, it's very futuristic, and I wouldn't say it's trendy, or it can go in trends, but I think now there's just so many different trends. But on the popular side, it's really struggling to get out of this particular niche because it's been so popular. And I heard some DJ on Lollapalooza like night before last, And it was better than hearing like dubstep up there, some like a crappy American dubstep. But I was really kind of surprised that somebody was playing that music in Lollapalooza. You know, a DJ that I never heard of, first of all, which doesn't surprise me because I don't pay attention to DJs. But it was some, some hipster, 35-year-old guy, you know, and some of his beats were okay. And again, it was like after the drop, but it was literally a build up every like minute. It was like a drop every minute. But the techno was like, it was okay for like a couple bars, and then it was like, oh yeah, it's getting shitty again. Or, oh yeah, it has some stupid vocal over the top. Or, yeah, they're trying to put house on this one. But, but that's a lot better than hearing a dubstep DJ from 5-10 years ago, or a EDM DJ. I mean, those ones are god awful from America. Those popular DJs. But yeah, what a shitty lineup in Lollapalooza. God, go from having Front 242 and Ice Cube and Susan the Banshees and Sisters of Mercy to some of the stuff that I saw on man, talk about losing the plot. I guess when you become that big a festival, you're putting so much money into it. And like, if you don't get a good return and you don't have popular people there, you're not going to get your monies back. And I guess Lollapalooza's gotten so big and Coachella's gotten so big where they can't have like a underground artist or something like that, or like up and coming artists. Like they all have to be big. I think I saw the Coachella lineup last year, and I didn't look too close, but I thought I saw about 90 names, and I must have at least looked at half of them, and I probably saw. I don't think I saw one or two people that I like in dance music, and I follow dance music pretty well. And so it's just, it's just like, it's just the overground scene and underground scene, and then they are up as far apart as they have ever been. But yeah, it's just, you just think that like Lollapalooza could just, now their stage is just like one stage. I don't think they have multiple stages. I think Coachella does. I'm not sure if Lollapalooza has. Maybe they just have that one big show, that one big stage, and and they just do it over multiple days instead of a lot of different stages and a couple days. But I haven't really looked into it. But it's amazing that they can't just have one side stage and have the underground stage and just take some chances on some cool artists that people want to come and see that aren't, I don't know, like popular on social media. I don't even know how to say it, because the guy I looked at, the guy I saw DJing, he had like 8,000 followers on Facebook. I never heard of him, but he's DJing at Lollapalooza, so, it wasn't super packed when he was DJing, but, everybody seemed to like it because he had a drop every minute, so it was getting everybody hyped up because they don't know too much about techno. And then also he was putting a lot of lyrics onto it, and including some kind of corny lyrics. There was one popular song that was on top of a techno track, and I was like, oh, that's bad. But yeah, it's just disappointing to see a lot of these live shows. And I feel like a lot of times they like it probably is like over in Europe. It's like it's hard to pay for somebody pay $2,000-$3,000 on airplane flights and hotels for somebody to come in from out of state, out of country, when you can just get somebody local. So not necessarily any of the festivals that I would like to play in are going to be clamoring up to have me come DJ. That's for sure. It's probably a pipe dream. But I don't even see it the opposite way. Like, like if they got to be paying these people a good amount to come, these corporate social media driven guys, I would imagine they ain't getting paid as much as somebody that could be overflown for something that is Coachella is that big. They probably fly in people all the time. So just to have a bunch of people that aren't really like on the underground tip in Europe, and to have them in America, like Coachella or Lollapalooza, you're just like, I don't know, but it's been like that forever. It's been like that since the '90s, when real DJs used to come overseas and I mean, even to maybe the super club time of '98 to like 2002, 2003, you'd have like Dickweed and Sasha come over and Sven Vath and Carl Cox and stuff like that, and that wasn't bad. But those are the most popular DJs of the underground. You know what I mean? Like it's they're still not even like on the lower side. Like the up and coming, like ones that might be even more new, that are pushing the envelope, playing different stuff. But anyways, that's my rant for the day. But yeah, that's my video on Frontier. I'm not sure how I got in a conversation with that, but it was just about like understanding techno, and Frontier 2 is crucial to understanding techno, in my opinion. Understanding EDM and industrial is so important to the rhythms in techno. I really feel like if you want to find the best techno, like listen to other styles of music, and you'll find the rhythms that you're looking for in techno, where techno might not have the rhythms that you're really impressed by. You might think it's boring, and it might be because you don't understand the intricacies. And the thing about techno that makes it really intriguing for me is you can focus on certain things and totally tune out other pieces. There's different levels to listening and different instruments, and it's not like a pop song where everything's all tied together. Everything is very produced differently and working in different ways to form an experimental or even a cohesive techno song. And there's lots of interesting sounds, and that's lots of interesting sounds. Is just that's not a prerequisite, or you have to, like or you maybe want to, like that's not even part of it. It's about making an interesting rhythm, is what techno is to me. Sure, it can be futuristic, it can be nostalgic, it could have cool sounds, it could not have cool sounds, but it can have somebody talking in the background, it could not have somebody talking in the background. It could be retro, it could be futuristic, but within all of that, the rhythm has to be good. And if the rhythm ain't there, I'm not there. And that's the issue I have with a lot of techno, is the rhythm's not there. And a lot of these producers, they don't know how to produce a proper techno rhythm. Or just it's something that doesn't sound ultra new and what we call business techno. All right, thanks for listening. Today's Electric Cafe episode about Frontier 2. Have a good rest of your day. Oh yeah, what are your top Frontier 2 tracks? Top 5 Frontier 4 tracks. All right, thanks lots. Have a good day.